In this video, I will cover the journey from death to reincarnation based on Chinese beliefs about the afterlife. This is a two-part series. Part 1 discusses the journey through hell, while Part 2 elaborates on the various Chinese hell deities. According to Taoism, the soul consists of 10 distinct parts, the 3 Hun and the 7 Pa. A more detailed video on the components of the soul from the Taoist perspective will be made in the future, so be sure to like and subscribe to catch that. In general, the 3 Hun form the ethereal aspect of the soul, while the 7 Pa constitute its corporeal aspect. Upon death, the 7 Pa disintegrate along with the body, while the 3 Hun embark on separate journeys. The 3 Hun are known by various names, but for this video, I will refer to them as Tian Hun, Heaven Hun; Di Hun, Earth Hun; Ren Hun, Human Hun. Upon death, the Tian Hun ascends to heaven, the Di Hun descends to hell where it is detained and subjected to punishment, and the Ren Hun remains on earth, wandering around the grave. The Chinese hell is akin to purgatory. Unlike the eternal states of Christian, Catholic, or Muslim hell, it is not a permanent condition. Virtually all Di Hun must go there to be judged and atone for their earthly sins. In very rare cases, if a person has lived a virtuous life, they will join the Buddha in the Western paradise, also known as Sukhavati, instead of entering hell. The 3 Hun are only reunited, along with 7 new Pa, when reincarnation occurs. For reincarnation to take place, the Di Hun must pass through the 10 courts of hell to atone for its earthly sins. For simplicity, in this video, I will henceforth refer to the Di Hun as the soul, and Diyu, the Chinese hell, will simply be referred to as hell. At the moment of death, 2 hell deities called Black and White Impermanence, He Bai Wu Chang, who wear black and white attire respectively, will shackle the soul and escort it to the gates of hell, Gui Men Guan. At this gate, the soul must present a pass to enter hell. This pass, similar to a visa, allows entry into hell and needs to be burned on earth as an offering by the family and/or friends of the deceased in order for the soul to receive it. Besides burning the pass, family and friends often also burn paper effigies of other earthly possessions such as clothes, money, gold ingots, a house, and a car, to ensure the departed can use these items in hell, making their journey as comfortable as possible. At the gate, the task of escorting the soul moved to 2 other hell deities, Oxhead and Horseface, Nyo Tu Ma Mian, who will escort the soul to the House of Darkness, Ming Fu, where the soul awaits judgment. Once the soul arrives at the House of Darkness, they will enter the first court to be judged by the ruler of hell and keeper of the Book of Life and Death, Sheng Sibu, King Qin Guang. If the soul is found to have committed no sins and thus should not be punished, it will be sent directly to the 10th court for reincarnation. However, more often than not, the soul will be sent to the relevant court for further judgment and possible torture, until all sins are atoned for. To make his decision, King Qin Guang places the soul in front of a mirror called the Mirror of Retribution, Nye Jing Tai, which reflects the soul's sins from their time on earth. As the ruler of hell, King Qin Guang presides over 9 other kings of hell, known as Yamas, each governing their own court and passing judgment on the soul according to the sins within their jurisdiction. Each court contains both a hot and cold hell, as well as 16 sublevels. Excluding the 1st and 10th courts, where the Mirror of Retribution is viewed and reincarnation is decided, there are a total of 8 courts, each with its own hot and cold hell, for a total of 16, known as Narakas. Depending on the severity of their crimes, souls may be subjected to 1 or more of these hells and sublevels, with the duration of their torture varying accordingly. Each sublevel is named after the specific method of torture used. Souls are tortured to death and then resurrected in a continuous cycle until their sentence is deemed complete and their sins atoned for. I will run through briefly the list of the 9 kings, the sins they judge, as well as examples of the torture methods used. The 2nd court of hell is ruled by King Chu Jian. This court is designated for those who commit acts of intentional violence and murder. The hot hell in this court is Sanjiva, reviving, where the ground is made of scorching hot iron. Beings here are in a state of fear and misery, constantly attacked by their fellow beings with iron claws and by hell guards wielding fiery weapons. After each round of death, they are restored to full health by a cold wind that revives them, and the cycle of attacks begins anew. The cold hell in this court is our Buddha, blister, where inhabitants are naked and subjected to extreme cold that causes blisters to form on their bodies. The third court of hell is governed by King Song Di. This court is reserved for those who have committed deceit. The hot hell in this court is Kala Sutra, black threads, where black ropes are stretched across mountains with hot cauldrons positioned underneath. Wardens force the inhabitants to carry heavy iron bundles while walking across the ropes, and if they fall, they land in the cauldrons below. The cold hell in this court is near our Buddha, burst blister, where the extreme cold causes blisters to burst open, leaving the beings covered in frozen blood and pus. The fourth court of hell is ruled by King Wu Guan. This hell is reserved for those who exhibit improper attitudes toward love and sexual indulgence. The hot hell in this court is Sada, crushing, where inhabitants are surrounded by massive rock masses that collide and crush them into a bloody pulp. They are also confronted with a beautiful woman who resembles someone they once loved, sitting atop a tree and inviting them to climb. As they ascend, hot, sword-like leaves slice into their bodies, but their overwhelming desire drives them to reach the top, only to find the woman beckoning them back down. This cycle repeats endlessly, causing the prisoner to endure hundreds of thousands of years of torment. The cold hell in this court is Aaa, shivering, where beings shiver so violently in the extreme cold that they produce continuous at sounds. The fifth court of hell is ruled by King Yen Luo, the original ruler of hell, who was demoted to this court by the Jade Emperor for being too lenient. This court judges those guilty of the misuse of intoxicants. The hot hell in this court is Rarava, screaming, where the demons use pincers to pry open the mouths of the prisoners and pour molten copper into them, which destroys their internal organs. The cold hell in this court is Hahava, lamentation, where beings lament in the cold, expressing their pain with continuous ha sounds. The sixth court of hell is ruled by King Bian Cheng and deals with lies and the spreading of falsehoods. In this court, psychological suffering is of greater consequence than crimes involving physical misdeeds. This court also handles souls who have suffered wrongful deaths, placing them in a city of innocent deaths. The hot hell in this court is Maharorava, great screaming. One form of torture here includes having the prisoners' tongues torn out by wardens. The cold hell in this court is Huhuva, chattering teeth, where beings shiver and their teeth chatter, producing the sound hu, hu. The seventh court of hell is ruled by King Taishan. This court focuses on the denial of karma and the concepts of good and evil, leading individuals to shirk responsibility for their wrongdoings. The hot hell in this court is Tapana, heating, where wardens impale souls on fiery spears. The cold hell in this court is Utpo, blue lotus, where the intense cold turns the skin a deep blue, resembling the color of a Utpo water lily. The eighth court of hell is ruled by King Dushir. This court is designated for those who have sexually defiled religious sanctity, including seducing monks, nuns, and virtuous laywomen. The hot hell in this court is Pratapana, great heating. In this hell, demons with black bellies, flaming eyes, and hooked teeth seize the inhabitants by the throat and drag them through mountains, cities, and across oceans engulfed in fire, with the wailing of other beings filling the air. The cold hell in this court is Padma, lotus, where severe blizzards crack open frozen skin, leaving the inhabitants raw and bloody. The ninth court of hell is ruled by King Ping Deng. The hot hell in this court is Avicii, uninterrupted, where beings endure intense and unending suffering in a massive, blazing oven. This hell is reserved for those who have committed one of the 5 serious sins in Buddhism with deliberate intent, such as murdering one's biological parents, intentionally causing harm to the Buddha, Bodhisattvas, or the Buddhist community, or killing arhats, fully enlightened beings. The cold hell in this court is Mahapadma, great lotus, where the entire body cracks into pieces, exposing the internal organs to the severe cold, which also causes them to crack. The 10th court of hell is ruled by King Zhuanluen, who oversees the reincarnation of souls after they have completed their punishments. Before discussing the process of reincarnation, it is important to note that, up to this point, I have described 8 hot hells and 8 cold hells, totaling 16 hells, which are primarily derived from Buddhist beliefs. However, it is also commonly believed by the Chinese in the concept of the 18 levels of hell, which is a separate idea. One version of these 18 levels of hell includes tongue ripping, scissors, trees of knives, mirrors of retribution, steaming, copper pillars, mountain of knives, mountain of ice, oil cauldrons, pit of cattle, boulder crushing, mortars and pestles, pool of blood, wrongful dead, dismemberment, mountain of fire, mills, and sawing. Once free from the 10 courts, the soul will continue its journey until it reaches the river of forgetfulness, Wang Chuanhe. This river is populated by spirits who cannot be reincarnated because they were not properly buried, have no descendants, or have not received offerings from family or friends. They may also include individuals who died with intense rage or other obsessive thoughts, which hinders their journey to reincarnation. To cross the river, the soul must traverse the bridge of helplessness, Nai He Chiao. The bridge is divided into 3 layers, the upper layer is red, the middle layer is dark yellow, and the lowest layer is black. As one descends each layer, the bridge becomes narrower and more perilous. Near the bridge, in the river, are ghosts waiting to drag the soul into the water and switch places with them. If a soul is dragged into the river, they will be trapped there until they manage to drag another soul in to replace them. Besides the bridge, there is a stone known as the Stone of 3 Lives, San Xingshi, that records detailed accounts of one's previous lives, with a reminder not to hesitate in seeking reincarnation. After crossing the bridge, the soul arrives at the pavilion to see your home, Wang Xiang Tai, where it has a final opportunity to view the loved ones left behind in the life just ended. Despite the dangers of climbing the pavilion, which is covered with sharp stones and guarded by shouting wardens, souls often feel compelled to make the ascent for that one last look at their former life. Beneath the pavilion, there is a stall run by an elderly hell goddess named Mengpa. Souls wishing to be reincarnated must drink her brew, known as the 5-flavored tea of forgetfulness, Mengpa Tang, to erase all memories of their previous lives. The primary ingredients in Meng Po's soup include water from the river of forgetfulness and all the tears the soul cried during their earthly existence, both joyful and sorrowful. For the romantics who wish to retain the memory of their soulmate, there is an alternative: they can choose to jump into the river of forgetfulness and remain there for over 1,000 years. Finally, the soul is ready to reincarnate and will choose one of 6 realms to reincarnate into: God, Asura, human, animals, hungry ghosts, hell. The first 3 realms are primarily for good people, and the last 3 realms primarily for evil people.